Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another Etheria restart video, and today we're going to do a super simple guide for TIAMAT, one of the most OP characters in this game, especially considering you can select her in the select summon banner. I think a ton of people are going to pick this character, so let me give you some stats. Let me give you a little build guide for here to get her moving in the right direction. And I want to start by talking about her stats. What you're seeing on the screen right here is her stats at like maxed out level 50. She ranks number 1 in the whole game in terms of her HP pool. 22,815 HP gives her the most health in the game, and that's a good thing because everything this character does scales off of her health. Obviously, her tankiness is going to scale from that. She's a character that taunts her enemies, and her damage scales off of her HP. So she needs a large HP pool, and as it stands right now, no one has more health than her. Now, I'm going to follow that up with a little bit of a downer. Her defense at 830, that's 29th in the game, and that's not great for a character who wants to be taking hits. So you might look for some like defense substats or something like that as you're building her out, but the 830 defense definitely holds her back just a little bit, but doesn't prevent her from being really good. Now, her low attack, 943 attack, is really low, but she really just doesn't care about that because, like I mentioned, her damage scales off of her HP, and then her speed is kind of mid, 122 base speed. That's fine. It ranks 24th in the game. There's several characters right around that number. You can build some speed into her kit to make her fast, and that's something you're really going to want to do. Now, outside of that, there's two other things I want to point out. Her effect accuracy is at 0%. This is a chick who's going to be wanting to land some taunts. You might want to find some effect accuracy in some substats to help her land her taunts. But on the flip side, her effect resist at 20% is really nice. She is taking a lot of hits for your team, and some of those hits come with effects. So having 20% effect resist is better than a lot of the other characters in the game who have 0. Now, moving to like early game build options, like what should you focus? Swift Rush and Wellspring, those top two, those are the main two in my opinion. Wellspring, look, more health. This chick just wants health, 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 and you can't afford to be slow in this game as TIAMAT. So Wellspring and Swift Rush are the two I would lean into the most. If you have some Strive or Unbreakable pieces of gear that like really substat out well for her, those will give her some defense. But, you know, her defense scaling isn't the best, so I would look more into like substats for defense. Maybe if you have like, maybe you get some subs you really want with defense mixed in, take that. But Strive and Unbreakable for a tanky support character like her would be fine. Swift Rush and Wellspring are my number 1 and 2 recommendations. Now, her substats, you're looking for HP, effect accuracy, and speed first, then lean into maybe some of that like defense or effect resist, something like that, right? Like, but HP, effect accuracy, and speed, those are the main ones. As far as shells go, I like Unbridled Science and Diamond Heart for her, both because their matrices synergize well with the module matrices and their abilities are good. So Unbridled Science just gives you more turns after the owner takes action, increase your turn meter by 30%. That'll really help her, you know, get that first taunt off and then follow it up with her shield and regen, and we'll look more at that stuff later. And then Diamond Heart is going to give you more shielding and more defense, and it's a flat defense. It doesn't scale off of hers, it just gives you the 550. So before the owner takes action, increase the defense by 550 for 2 turns, then apply a 2-turn shield equal to 300% of your own defense, both to TIAMAT and to the character on your team with the lowest HP percentage. And the thing with TIAMAT is she is like a tank in terms of like being able to draw aggro to herself, build defense and HP, but she's also a damage dealer based on her HP and a team supporter by providing healing and shielding to the rest of your team, along with the crowd control that is her taunt. So I want to look at her skills a little deeper right now and kind of explain to you why I'm recommending what I'm recommending. Her basic skill, Thunder Spear. TIAMAT swings her spear to pierce the target, dealing 2 hits of damage equal to 10% of her max HP. So this is the first move she has that scales off of her max HP, which lets her hit really hard, especially like in the early, mid, and like early late game. As you get later into the game, the pure DPS characters will probably start hitting harder than her, I would imagine, but still, this is a really nice thing for a tank to have. Now, it consumes 8% of her current HP with each hit, and adding true damage equal to 100% of the consumed HP. So it consumes 8% of her current HP, so you want to keep her there's this weird game you're playing with Tiamat the whole time. She gains bloodshed stacks, which we'll talk about here in a minute, by gaining and losing, I'll do the right motion, HP, and that will help her ascend to her like ultimate form. Still, if you can keep her high HP, like keep her HP kind of maxed out, every time she's consuming percentages of her HP to do like true damage or something like that, it'll be better. So you're kind of just constantly playing this HP up and down game with her that makes her interesting to play. Okay, let's continue. Mother of Evolution. She shares 25% of damage taken by other allies. For every 13% max HP lost or healed, she gains a stack of bloodshed. When bloodshed reaches 8 stacks, she enters her ultimate form, heals herself for 30% of her max HP, and immediately takes a turn. Now, the ultimate form basically works like this. She's going to turn into this demon. The only move she can do is Purge Day, and she will lose her bloodshed stacks. Like, she'll lose more and more every turn and then turn back into original form. The move she does, Purge Day, is really effective. Like, it's a big AoE damage dealer. So she unleashes purifying flames to incinerate the enemies. How poetic. Dealing damage equal to 15% of her max HP. There's more of that max HP scaling to all enemies. Adding additional true damage equal to 13% of her current HP. So again, be high health, do more damage, and recovering HP equal to 20% of the damage dealt, so she'll heal herself a little bit. It does not generate a cooldown because she just does it every turn while she's in her ultimate form. Now, she does lose bloodshed stacks in her ultimate form. Turn 1, she loses 2, turn 2, she loses 4, turn 3, she loses 8, so on and so on and so on. She will go back to her regular form after that's done. Now, most of the time, I did skill 1 first because it helped explain her ultimate. Her rotation, if you leave her on auto, she's going to use her taunt and then use her shield. Like, that's how the AI will run her. So let's read those abilities. Her skill 3, the taunt, this is the one that will like trigger the cutscene animation. She consumes her own life to empower her spear and throws it to penetrate enemies. She consumes 30% of her current HP to deal 2 hits of damage equal to 10% of her max HP to all enemies with a 50% chance to inflict that 1 turn taunt. So there you go. That's her AoE taunt. The damage from it scales off of her HP, and then you want to land the taunt. Now, her skill 2, Seal of Life, this is a group shield and regen. So Tiamat establishes a mental bond with her allies, consuming 25% of her current HP to apply a 2-turn heal over time and shield to all allies. The heal over time is when the turn starts, recover 15% of max HP, pretty effective, and the shield absorbs an amount of damage equal to 120% of the HP consumed. The HP consumed is she consumes 25% of her current HP. So if she casts this skill at low health, the shield is weak. If she casts this skill at high health, her shield is stronger. So she wants to be gaining and losing health to like get her bloodshed stacks up, but when she's proccing these moves, she wants to be high HP. It's just something to keep in mind. For every 1 stack of bloodshed Tiamat has, the shield amount increases by 5%. So that's a nice little bonus on there as well. So that's how her skills work. I hope that by like looking at that, you think you can understand like why the Wellspring set is one of the most important ones, and why a character like her who might not need a healer, like you could definitely run her in a team where she is the healing and the defensive kind of support by providing that shield and the heal over time. There's going to be a lot of content that like just won't be able to break through her. But if you're, especially in the early game, you want to keep her high HP because she can do that thing where she just kind of consumes herself, and then if her shield is weak and she's got aggro from everybody, they bust through the shield and do enough damage to kill her. So while she does want to be targeted and losing HP, adding a little extra defense to her, having a character that can top her off so she gets max scaling and isn't getting just accidentally blown up is important. So when you're building her in a team, she fits into almost any squad you want to build. It can be those early game like DPS, support, healer, OP squad where she fits that like OP role, or it could be those like later game control squads where she's kind of providing some of that control and support for your team. Plug and play unit makes the game easier. I picked her on the last beta playthrough I did, and she carried my squad. Like, she's a unit that will make your playthrough You put it on 3 times, hit auto, and boom, she's going to do her thing, especially if she's got a healer with her. You just don't have to worry. Whereas some of the other, even more like OP characters in this game do require a little bit more clever team building. I don't think that's the case with her. And even though I personally have some like reservations about her PvP as the game evolves, in like the beta PvP tournaments, she was picked and banned more than about anybody else. So right now, as the game stands, she's an OP PvP unit too. There she is. That's Tiamat. If she's somebody you're thinking about selecting from the new player select banner, you're good. Go for it. You won't regret it. All right, guys, thank you all for watching. Please leave me some feedback on this type of video. It's the first video I've made like this, like a character guide. If there's more stuff you would like to know, I'd be happy to throw that into my next character guide. Help me evolve these videos, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.